Welcome back to World Information HD, your ultimate channel for everything rare, valuable, and mysterious about US coins that could be hiding right in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and collectible pieces in American coin history, the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. It's a small copper coin that carries a big story, and if you've ever come across one, you might be holding something far more valuable than a single cent. Let's take a journey back in time to understand why this humble-looking penny has captured the hearts of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters all over the world. The year was 1942. The United States was fully engaged in World War II, and the nation's economy was being reshaped by the demands of the war effort. Metal supplies were being rationed, industries were repurposed for military production, and even the U.S. Mint was feeling the pressure to adapt. Every ounce of copper was needed for ammunition, wire, and essential wartime equipment. But before the famous 1943 steel pennies came into production, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Cent was the last of its kind, the final copper penny before America shifted to steel. That historical connection alone makes the 1942 penny stand out. It's a symbol of an America on the edge of transformation. And if you're lucky enough to have one of these in your collection, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a tangible piece of World War II-era history. Now, let's look closer at its design. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, are hidden subtly beneath Lincoln's shoulder. This same design had been in use since 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above his head reads, "In God We Trust," to the left the word, "Liberty," and to the right the year, 1942. If your coin does not have a mint mark under the year, that means it was minted in Philadelphia, the original U.S. Mint facility. Unlike Denver or San Francisco, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark at that time. That's why this coin is referred to as the 1942 no-mint Mark Wheat Penny. On the reverse side, we see the two iconic wheat stalks curving inward, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above them sits the phrase, E pluribus unum, Latin for, out of many one. These wheat ears gave the coin its nickname, the Wheat Penny. It's a design beloved by collectors for its simple yet powerful symbolism of American unity and prosperity. When it comes to minting numbers, over 657 million 1942 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, which means they aren't exactly rare in basic circulated condition. But here's the twist, not all 1942 pennies are the same. Some have incredible stories behind them, and even minor differences can make a world of difference in value. One of the most fascinating things about the 1942 penny is that it was struck during a time of major metal experimentation. The U.S. Mint was already preparing to shift from copper to steel for the following year's coinage. As a result, a few experimental planchets and composition tests were done. Although official records don't show steel cents from 1942, there have been reports of transitional errors, rare 1942 pennies struck on the wrong metal planchets, possibly bronze or steel types meant for 1943. These ultra-rare transitional errors are the holy grail for collectors, sometimes fetching tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But even among regular copper issues, the 1942 no-mint Mark penny can be surprisingly valuable depending on its condition. The difference between a coin that's been through decades of circulation and one that's been perfectly preserved is enormous. In well-worn condition, a 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln Wheat Penny might be worth just a few cents to a couple of dollars. But once you move up the grading scale, things change fast. If you find one with strong details, sharp hairlines, clear lettering, and a clean, glossy surface, you could be looking at a coin worth hundreds. Collectors especially prize those with brilliant red or reddish-brown tones, since these are the original colors of copper when freshly minted. Over the years, oxidation and handling turn most pennies dull brown, so those rare red survivors are stunning reminders of what these coins once looked like in the 1940s. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as mint state, MS, examples are where the big money lies. An MS 65 or higher grade can make this small coin suddenly worth thousands. In auctions, pristine 1942 pennies have repeatedly surprised experts with their high hammer prices, especially when the coin boasts perfect luster, even toning, and no visible scratches. There are also fascinating varieties and errors that make certain 1942 cents far more valuable. For instance, some pennies from that year show double die obverse, meaning parts of the design, such as the date or letters, were accidentally struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating a doubling effect visible to the naked eye or under magnification. These error coins can command huge premiums. Then there are off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and repunched mint marks on other 1942 issues. Though the no mint mark version from Philadelphia doesn't have mint mark repunches, other mints from the same year do. Each error tells a unique story of how coins were made back in a time when quality control was far less automated than it is today. Collectors are drawn not just to the coin itself but also to its connection to American resilience. The 1942 penny came out during one of the most challenging times in the nation's history, a moment when every resource, every factory, and every citizen was focused on victory. This little copper coin, circulating through the hands of soldiers' families, factory workers, and children collecting for the war effort, became a small symbol of national pride. It's easy to imagine these coins being dropped into vending machines, carried in soldiers' pockets as good luck charms, or used in donations to support the Red Cross. Each one carries silent stories of a nation united under hardship. That emotional and historical weight gives the 1942 penny its true worth far beyond metal content or rarity. So, how do you know if your 1942 no mint mark wheat penny could be valuable? Start by examining its color, luster, and sharpness. If it still has that fiery red tone and clean surfaces, you're already in a better position. Next, check for any doubling or odd markings that might indicate an error. A good magnifying glass or microscope can help you spot rare features others might overlook. Finally, if you think your coin is special, consider getting it graded by a professional service. A certified high-grade example can skyrocket in value and attract serious collector interest. It's also worth noting that coin values fluctuate with demand and the broader collectibles market. Sometimes, a single auction can reignite interest in a specific date or variety, pushing prices higher for months or even years afterward. The 1942 penny has seen several such surges in collector attention, especially during anniversaries of World War II and major coin exhibitions. For those new to collecting, this coin is an ideal starting point. It's affordable in lower grades, historically rich, and visually classic. Yet it also holds the potential for surprise value if you come across an exceptional piece. Many great coin collections began with a simple wheat penny found in an old jar or a family keepsake box. The beauty of the 1942 no mint mark wheat penny lies in its dual nature, common enough to be accessible, but mysterious enough to hide treasures among its ranks. It represents the perfect blend of history, art, and the thrill of discovery that makes coin collecting so addictive. So, the next time you go through your change, or you stumble upon an old jar of pennies in your attic, take a moment to look closely. You might just find one of these wartime relics, a coin that has witnessed the past 8 decades of American life, from the 1940s to today, because even though it started as just 1 cent, in today's collector's world, its value can soar far beyond imagination. And yes, you heard that right. One of the finest examples of the 1942 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny has been sold for an astonishing $46,666. So check your pockets, your drawers, and those old coffee cans full of coins. You never know what history might be hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching World Information HD, where every coin tells a story and every cent might just make you rich. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible videos about rare coins and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. In the world of coin collecting, there are some coins that look so ordinary that most people would never take a second glance at them. You might find one tucked in an old drawer, resting in a jar of change, or buried deep in a family collection that hasn't been touched for decades. Yet, that small brown coin could be worth thousands of dollars today. In today's video, we are diving deep into the story, rarity, and hidden value of one of America's most fascinating coins, the United States of America 1950 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. You might think it's just another old penny, but by the end of this video, you'll see why collectors are paying shocking amounts for this little copper treasure. Let's start by taking a look back in time to 1950. America was rebuilding its strength after the challenges of World War II. The economy was booming, new suburbs were rising, and cars filled the roads as the American dream seemed more alive than ever. In the middle of all this growth and change, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck millions of 1-cent coins featuring one of the most beloved designs in American history, the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now, at first glance, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny doesn't look particularly special. It features Abraham Lincoln's bust on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse side, you'll see two wheat stalks bending inward, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum proudly above. That design was symbolic. It represented hard work, agriculture, and the prosperity of the nation. But here's where things start to get interesting. Although more than 272 million pennies were minted in Philadelphia in 1950, not all of them were created equal. Unlike those struck in Denver or San Francisco, the Philadelphia coins did not carry any mint mark below the date. To the average person, this might seem like a small detail, but to coin collectors, that lack of a mint mark means everything. It's what makes the no mint mark variety a sought-after piece of numismatic history, especially when it's found in pristine condition. The Philadelphia Mint had the responsibility of producing a large number of coins to support the booming post-war economy. However, the quality of production varied from batch to batch. Some of the 1950 no mint mark Lincoln cents were struck with extraordinary sharpness and clarity, displaying crisp details in Lincoln's hair, coat, and facial features. These sharply struck examples, often known as full step or full detail coins, are the ones that truly catch the eyes of serious collectors. Another key reason why the 1950 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny has become a coin of fascination is because of its survival in high grades. You see, most of these pennies entered circulation quickly and were used for decades. They passed from pocket to pocket, scraped through cash registers, and jingled in children's piggy banks. As a result, the vast majority of these coins show heavy wear, scratches, and discoloration. Finding one in mint state condition, shiny, lustrous, and nearly flawless, is like uncovering a time capsule from the past. Collectors also pay attention to small details, tiny differences that may exist between one coin and another. For example, on some 1950 no mint mark pennies, you can spot die cracks, doubled lettering, or even repunched dates. These are known as error varieties, and they add incredible value because they are rare. A double die error, for instance, where the lettering or numbers appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during minting, can make a coin instantly more desirable. Imagine having a coin where the "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appears slightly shadowed. Those imperfections can transform an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Let's talk about composition for a moment. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gives it that warm, classic reddish-brown tone that has made wheat pennies so recognizable and iconic. Over time, the copper reacts with the air, giving the coin a variety of colors, from bright red to dark brown or even rainbow-toned hues. Coins that retain their original red color are extremely rare, and the more vibrant the red, the higher the value collectors are willing to pay. In fact, when professional grading services like PCGS or NGC grade a coin, the color designation, red RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, can dramatically impact its price. Now imagine this, a coin that has survived more than 7 decades, without being scratched, bent, or tarnished, still gleaming with the original mint luster from 1950. Such coins are the ones that make headlines in auctions. And though millions were struck, only a handful of these no mint mark Lincoln Wheat pennies exist in such perfect condition today. That rarity is what drives collectors to pay unbelievable amounts of money for them. But there's more to the story than just condition. Some coins from the 1950 Philadelphia batch show subtle striking variations or differences in metal texture due to changes in the minting equipment. These minor differences, although invisible to most people, can make a coin unique and highly desirable to experts who spend years studying them. And here's something fascinating. During the late 1940s and early 1950s, coin collecting started becoming a serious hobby in America. Many collectors began saving Lincoln Wheat pennies by date and mint mark, hoping to complete a full set from 1909 to 1958. However, despite the large number minted, very few people at that time thought of keeping coins in uncirculated condition. People were too busy living their daily lives, and pennies were simply used as money, not as collectibles. That's exactly why the 1950 no-mint mark wheat penny in mint state is so rare today. It's a survivor from an era when few cared about preserving such small details of history. The beauty of the Lincoln Wheat penny design also plays a big role in its collectability. Victor D. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln was so well loved that it remains on the 1-cent coin even today, more than a century later. This makes the 1950 issue part of a long and beloved American legacy. Holding one is like holding a piece of living history, an object that connects generations of Americans. For modern collectors, grading and authentication are essential when dealing with rare coins like the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. A coin graded MS65 red, for example, can be worth many times more than the same coin in a lower grade. Third-party grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, evaluate every detail, the color, the strike, and even the microscopic marks on the surface, to determine its grade. Coins that have been preserved in sealed rolls or coin albums for decades have the best chances of achieving high grades. If you ever come across a shiny 1950 wheat penny in an old coin jar or inherited collection, don't rush to spend it, take a closer look. That simple no-mint mark on the coin might just mean you're holding something far more valuable than a single cent. Collectors also cherish the emotional and historical connection that comes with these coins. Each one tells a silent story, a story of an America that was recovering, rebuilding, and dreaming of a brighter future. The pennies minted that year circulated in the pockets of factory workers, farmers, students, and veterans returning from war. Every coin was part of the daily rhythm of American life. So, finding a perfectly preserved 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny isn't just about the money. It's about discovering a tiny artifact of a country's proud past. Let's not forget the power of rarity and demand. The market for wheat pennies has remained strong for decades, and every year, more collectors enter the scene. They're searching for that one flawless coin, that hidden gem among the millions, that could complete their set or bring them prestige. Auctions have shown time and again that when two determined collectors compete for the same high-grade coin, the final price can skyrocket beyond expectations. The 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny, when found in pristine condition, especially with full mint luster and no visible marks, has achieved extraordinary prices in the numismatic world. It is one of those coins that perfectly represents how something seemingly insignificant can hold immense value when rarity, condition, and history combine. So, the next time you're sorting through your spare change, don't overlook that old brown penny. Flip it over, check the date, and see if there's a mint mark. If it reads 1950, and there's no small letter under the date, you might just have a piece of American history in your hand, one that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Because some of these coins, especially those in flawless, mint-state red condition, have been sold to passionate collectors and investors for a remarkable amount of money. In the world of coin collecting, there are some coins that appear so ordinary, yet hold an extraordinary secret within their copper surface. One such coin is the 1958 mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny, a small piece of American history that continues to fascinate collectors, treasure hunters, and historians alike. Though millions of these pennies were struck more than 6 decades ago, certain rare varieties have shocked the numismatic community by selling for astonishing prices at auctions. So, if you've ever found an old 1958 wheat penny resting in your drawer, wallet, or coin jar, this might just be your lucky day. To understand the true worth and story of the 1958 wheat penny, we must first travel back to the post-war years of America, a time when copper coins weren't just loose change, they were part of everyday life. The year was 1958, and the United States Mint was producing the final run of the beloved wheat cent before switching over to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This means the 1958 series marked the end of an era, the farewell to the famous wheat reverse that had appeared since 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The D Mint mark signifies that this particular penny was produced at the Denver Mint. During that year, over 800 million Lincoln wheat pennies rolled off the presses at Denver, making it one of the more common issues in circulation. However, as with most coins, not every penny was created equal. Small imperfections, unique die variations, and human error during the minting process can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. And for the 1958 D Lincoln wheat penny, those details make all the difference. At first glance, the coin looks simple enough. The obverse side bears the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, with the words, "In God We Trust," curved along the top. To the left of Lincoln's bust is the word, "Liberty," and to the right the date, 1958, followed by a small letter, D. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays two wheat stalks arching along the edges, a classic design that gives this coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny. But what makes this coin so captivating is not its design, it's the hidden treasures found within specific mint errors, die varieties, and rare conditions that push the value far beyond 1 cent. You see, while most 1958 D pennies are worth only their face value or slightly more, some select examples with extraordinary features have fetched jaw-dropping prices among serious collectors. Let's start by exploring the coin's composition and design details, because those play a major role in determining its rarity. The 1958 D wheat penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that rich, reddish-brown color. Over time, copper coins naturally darken or tone due to oxidation, but finding one with its original mint red luster is rare. Collectors call these red or full red coins, and they are worth significantly more than coins that have turned brown or dull over the years. In fact, the color designation, red RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, can make a huge difference in value. Now, condition is key. If your 1958 D wheat penny shows sharp detail in Lincoln's hair, clear lines in the wheat stalks, and minimal contact marks, it could be graded as mint state. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can bring in substantial value. But when a coin reaches the pristine grade of MS67 or MS68, it enters a whole new category of desirability, a level where serious collectors are willing to pay thousands. Beyond condition, the true magic lies in the rare mint errors and varieties that occurred during the minting process. Some of the most sought-after errors for the 1958 D penny include double die obverse, die cracks, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. One of the most exciting varieties to look for is the repunched mint mark, often called the RPM. In these cases, the Denver D was punched more than once during production, leading to a shadow or doubling effect visible under magnification. The 1958 D RPM can vary in strength, but strong examples are highly desirable and command much higher premiums than regular strikes. Then there are die cracks, small raised lines or bumps that appear when the metal dies used to strike the coins begin to wear and crack. These imperfections, often called cuds or die breaks, can make each coin unique, almost like a fingerprint from the mint itself. The more dramatic the die crack, the more collectors are willing to pay. Another feature worth hunting for is the double die obverse, where parts of the design, usually the date or lettering, appear doubled. Although the most famous double die is the 1955 Lincoln wheat penny, there are rumors and reports of minor doubling seen on a few 1958 D specimens. If authenticated, such an error could multiply the coin's value many times over. Let's not forget about the allure of history. The 1958 D Lincoln wheat penny carries the weight of American change, literally and figuratively. By the late 1950s, the nation was on the cusp of transformation. The space race was heating up, Elvis Presley was changing music, and the Mint was preparing to replace the wheat reverse with the Lincoln Memorial. This transition marked a symbolic end of an era for coin collectors, giving the 1958 pennies, especially those struck in Denver, a nostalgic edge that continues to resonate with collectors today. Now, how can you tell if your 1958 wheat penny is special? The first step is simple: examine it carefully. Hold it under a bright light or use a magnifying glass to inspect the mint mark, date, and details. Look for doubling, repunching, or cracks. Next, assess the coin's color and condition. If it still retains that rich, reddish hue and shows minimal wear, it might be worth having graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Coins and certified holders not only prove authenticity but also increase buyer confidence, making them easier to sell or auction. If your coin has even a hint of a rare variety, or if it's in exceptionally high-grade condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Many collectors and investors scour rolls of old wheat pennies hoping to uncover one of these hidden gems. Some have been found in circulation, tucked away in old jars, or passed down through generations. Even circulated examples of the 1958 wheat penny can fetch between a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition, but uncirculated coins, especially those with brilliant red surfaces, can range from tens to hundreds of dollars. For those few examples that achieve gem quality and high grading certifications, the value skyrockets. And when a coin combines exceptional preservation with a fascinating mint error, it enters legendary status. Auction houses have recorded staggering sales for coins just like this, where a tiny imperfection made all the difference. The emotional thrill of finding such a coin, coupled with the historical beauty of Lincoln's enduring portrait, makes this tiny copper piece more than just money. It becomes a time capsule of America's story. Collectors often say that every coin tells a tale, and the 1958 wheat penny is no exception. It speaks of craftsmanship, of human error turned into treasure, and of the endless fascination we have with our nation's past. The next time you come across a handful of old coins, don't overlook the humble penny, because you might just be holding a piece of history worth far more than its face value. So, if you ever stumble upon a shiny 1958 Lincoln wheat penny in your collection, don't rush to spend it. Check its details, grade, and authenticity, and if you discover that it's one of the rare high-grade or error varieties, then congratulations, because you might possess something truly special. While most coins from this year are common, a select few have turned heads in the numismatic world. With their brilliant color, crisp detail, and rare features, these small copper treasures continue to command awe and admiration. They remind us that even the tiniest artifacts can hold immense historical and monetary value. And for one extraordinary 1958 Lincoln wheat penny, the right combination of perfection, rarity, and demand once led to a breathtaking auction result. That remarkable coin sold for an impressive amount, a stunning total of $44,444.